This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
From New York, it's a show that doesn't have March Madness. We're locked in to baseball, Ohtani stuff, Lakers we have some football.
There's a lot of other stuff going on.
There's a lot of other stuff going.
Shame nobody's watching to see all the
People
other
are locked
stuff
in right now.
Put it on 2. One on the game.
Yeah, give us
one
the
on
sound.
Yeah.
Give us the sound.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Be good.
I'm telling you, picture-in-picture was a technology.
Now people do the quad box.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to
multi-view.
I don't think I have that.
You may not, but several of the networks have it. They all don't have them. They all don't have them.
I would like it, and I don't need quad.
You just want
I want
picture in
2.
picture. You just want
Two.
quad
I don't
is
need.
good.
No, I can't.
But
do
if
the
you
quad.
are with us right now, we appreciate it.
And we'll have a lot on social media. a lot of
No, we're locked in.
after
Thank
the
you for
game.
watching First Things First.
Yeah.
Today, Houston, we don't have a point guard. What is going on?
That's
We
your
ran
team.
into a better team.
You probably
that
like
you
them now.
begrudgingly have to believe in.
I believe in this team.
Okay.
If Luka's going to play like that, what are you supposed to do? Also, you don't have a point guard. Get a point guard.
It's too late.
Houston.
buddy. The deadline's passed.
Then why do the? I'll save this. I have a great
Save it.
take.
Yeah,
I have an
okay.
all-time take
The
coming up.
Tiger's gonna come out.
Yeah, 'cause he doesn't
always
like being
the
wrong.
Tiger.
Meanwhile, free agency watch.
Uh-oh.
Could Stefon Diggs end up catching passes from Lamar? And the very interesting social media action from
Julian Edelman that's
and
not-
Christian Gonzalez.
that he's responding
About
to
Diggs?
Edelman. No, about AJ Brown.
Wow, now Nick Wright's saying it.
No, I'm not saying.
Holy cow. And finally, the most motivational segment in all sports, the Bud List, with a special cameo from the sports media ombudsman, who's really making some waves.
No.
He's always.
I saw someone retweet it, and I said, I hope I'm not part of the shrapnel here.
Oh, that was from a different show. Don't worry about that.
Well, it's called What's Right. Have you seen this?
No, don't worry about it. Let's
I've
focus
seen
on
it
this.
trending.
I keep Brew out of any controversy, out of my respect for him. So I try to keep those things separate.
I'm telling you, we're going to get hit with this.
Oh wow!
No.
Yes.
Now I'm like, okay, wow.
Yes.
I think
I'm
I broke
intrigued.
the disc.
When Shaq shows up, like you were talking trash, what'd I do?
Shaq.
We're starting in Houston. Lakers win their 7th game in a row. Luka went nuclear to close the game. I'm calling it Luke-lear. Yes or no?
No.
No.
Gianna, that's a no.
Luke-lear.
That's 0 for 3. Dustin with a yes.
Loop near.
Luke-lear.
No.
When
It's a
Luka
no.
goes
It doesn't-
nuclear.
it
No, it doesn't work.
No.
40 points found LeBron for a late emphatic dunk. LeBron
Maybe
was
Luka Doncic.
no.
I like that one better.
Thank
That's
you.
better.
Thank you. Thank
Either's
you.
great, but that's better.
What is it?
Luka
Luka
Doncic.
Doncic.
I like that. I actually like
That's
that.
still mine though.
You can have it.
LeBron shot 90% from the field. Here's JJ on the dynamic duo.
He definitely put on a clinic down the stretch, whether it was in isolation versus fires in isolation versus the shock with Şengün. He just got us good offense, whether for himself or for his teammates every single time down the floor. He was awesome tonight, and I think too, part of the evolution of him on this team has been, and particularly in this stretch, has just been his patience. His patience, knowing, he's going to get the ball and he's going to have transition opportunities and he's going to have plays called for him and he's going to, play off ball and get a corner 3 first play of the game.
Okay, was last night more about Luka or LeBron or JJ Redick?
Look, credit to JJ.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, I said, look, he's got to figure out a way to make it work
true.
together, and he's done that. He's fixed the defense, so credit to him. In a vacuum, Nick, this would be about Luka. 40 points, 1 rebound shy of a triple-double, 8 points, 3 assists in the last 5 minutes to turn the
and
tie
all
game
sensational
into a win.
plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing normal.
No, they were all bananas.
So in a vacuum, it'd be about Luka, but in the context of the season, when you factor in the age of LeBron, his stature in the league, just everything, it was about LeBron. And beyond him having a great game with the 30 points, only 13 or 14 from the field, I think the story, and JJ was talking about it, is LeBron's first acceptance of being the third guy and really like a role player on steroids or role player supreme or something like that. Like, that's kind of what he is. And he's mastering it. That's not easy. When you've played with the ball in your hands for 20 some odd years in the NBA, and now you have switched to being off the ball, and he's doing it. He's getting better and better every game, every week at it. And so last night, he was like the analytics dream.
Yeah.
Like, he came out, the analytics don't want you, they think we want one of three shots. We want a three-pointer, we want something in the paint, or a free throw. LeBron came out, hit 2 threes early on, and then every other shot he took was in the paint. 6 dunks, 3 of them alley-oops, and then one shot kind of out, it was in the paint, but a little out from the rim. And then everything else was a layup at the rim. And so the efficiency was incredible. And so I think LeBron was the story, just his ability to not only accept the role, but now thrive in it. And that was key to and again, I said the other day when I talked about kind of comparing him to Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, averaging 17 points a game. There would be times, though, when they'd have a big game. Austin Reeves was off last night. LeBron has a huge game. And it was about LeBron.
So I want to, listen, I think Luka is building an argument that when you are discussing the MVP of this season, he's got to be one of the first names you say. Not the first name, but one of the first names, and is in the mix, I think, right now, a pretty clear, at best, second, and for a lot of people, third, but with a few weeks left in the season. Mm-hmm. And his play has been the story of the winning streak. And he has been like 49-10 is like his third best game of the winning streak. So I don't want to shortchange Luka, but I do want to stay on LeBron. So the point you made about him accepting his role, so DeAndre Ayton had a really interesting quote yesterday is when I saw it, where he was like, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, I wasn't bought in at all, initially, and I am now. We talk a lot about the tax of having a top 2 all-time player at this stage of his career when he's a top 2 all-time player, and some people don't even think he is a top 2 current Laker. And how does that lead to Luka deferring at the end of games? Is it clumsy? And not LeBron's fault, but the tax associated with it. The flip side to having a top 2 all-time player who's not the best player on his own team is when you see him go Dennis Rodman full horizontal for a loose ball. Right. Maybe moments like that make DeAndre Ayton say, the hell am I doing? You know what I mean? If he can accept his role, I probably can accept mine, you know what I mean, in service of a greater good. And so there is that. There is also the numbing to the record books, which, while I was on vacation, LeBron James...
Time out.
Yeah. What?
Working.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. While
the
I was
truth
off
came
from
out.
The show.
You saved me.
You know what? Freudian slip. Thank you, guys. While I was off, LeBron set the record for most baskets in NBA history.
Yeah.
Most made baskets. They didn't stop the game. When Steph was going to break the 3-point basket record, we
barely mentioned it.
No, what?
The field goal. Like, he broke the field goals record. You want him to stop the game?
Well, I'm saying when Steph broke the 3-point record, we had a daily countdown. They stopped the game to the ceremony. Reggie Miller was there crying. And so in a couple days, LeBron's going to break Robert Parrish's record.
Yeah.
Most games played. This is
He also topped 12,000 rebounds last night.
Right. Nobody cares.
23rd player ever.
So there have been 2 guys ever to play in game 1,610. So I was like, hey, why don't we show what those two stat lines looked like? And again, shout out to Robert Parrish for playing 23 years and making it there. There's not a shot at him at all. But
I mean, he didn't have Luka.
Okay, yeah.
If Luka was throwing him alley-oops, maybe Robert Parrish.
But
who was on that Bulls team? That was when that was post.
No, it was 97.
Oh, so that was
Robert Parrish
Jordan.
was on the 1997.
Yeah,
he got a ring with the Bulls.
Yeah, he did.
I remember him.
And so the point that you said he had 6 dunks. There have been 3 games in his career with more dunks than last night. Yeah. You said the other day he leads the NBA in fast break points.
Second.
Oh, he's second in the NBA in fast break points. It is stunning and wholly unprecedented that a night like that can happen. And the famous dunk, I should have had him pull the video. Bad job by me. His dunk on Jason Terry.
Oh, yeah.
That was 13 years ago to the day yesterday. And I just thought that was amazing. Like, 10 years into his career, he was athletic enough to have that play on Jason Terry. And 13 years later, he's catching that lob behind his head. It's just like that is the part of it that we do get kind of numb to because we're not shocked by it, I guess, at this point.
Off the top of my head, I think the only comparable athletes in terms of doing this at this stage of their career would be Tom Brady, and George Foreman winning the heavyweight championship at 45.
Maybe Nolan Ryan, there's not
maybe.
I don't want to take anything from LeBron, but I want to bring it back to Luka and try to give LeBron a compliment. Luka during the 7-game win streak, this is field goal percentage and points. The latest one, like you said, 40 points. He had 51 against the Bulls. He had 44 against the Pacers, which, the Pacers curve there is still high 30s. Yeah. The thing about, and this is credit to LeBron, obviously, he's 13-40. These are a lot, he was getting easy buckets. I think, but
LeBron,
a lot of these were easy buckets courtesy of Luka.
Yeah.
So the fact that he is playing better defense, he doesn't have to carry the load, and he can still get you 30 points on catching lobs. It makes Luka better too.
And can I give you a Luka theory, Brew? Because I think we all agree Luka is at his best when he is angry and snarling and screaming at fans and opponents, not refs.
Right.
When he directs his ire at the opposition or at the crowd, he needs to be in a froth.
The Lakers should almost, I had a theory, the Lakers should put people in the crowd.
Well,
even home games.
No, but I have a different theory. I think being 1 game away from the technical suspension has been great for him.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
The fact that he's one technical away from being suspended, the fact that he knows he can't yell at the refs, but he's got to yell at somebody.
Yeah.
And so, maybe it's a coincidence, but it has lined up with this stretch of out-of-this-world play because he does get too distracted by a beef with the ref, as opposed to his best moments when he's trying to make Devin Booker cry or screaming at the crowd. Like, that's when he's at his best.
Yeah, who's zealous. Yeah. At Heat, we think they're going to lose that one.
I think they're going to sit everyone tonight.
But look at this. At Magic, at Pistons without Cade, we're about to talk about, at Pacers, then home against the Nets. So there's going to be more.
I think they locked up the 3 seed last night.
Yeah, they should be the 3 seed.
All right, head to Detroit where Cade is going to miss some time after being diagnosed with a collapsed lung. He checked out of a game against the Wizards after diving on the floor for a ball. Detroit initially thought this was back spasms, bro. Now, everyone's different, obviously, but Tim Bontemps noting that C.J. McCollum had similar issue twice. One time he missed 3 weeks, one time he missed 6 weeks. If Cade were to miss 6 weeks, he would come back at the tail end of the first round. That's kind of worst case historically. Your reaction to this news?
Well, look, you first hear it collapsed lung, and you think, man, is this serious? And thankfully, it seems like it's not. He'll be back, hopefully, to 3 weeks, but if not that, to 6 weeks. Certainly this season, assuming they go on. But if it's the long, like if he's back in 6 weeks, that would be after the first round of the playoffs. If they played Atlanta, which is hot, and I know they're beating up a bunch of teams that are tanking, but still, Atlanta or Charlotte.
Hello.
Without Cade would be very tough for Detroit because we've talked about it. Who's creating the offense? All right, so that's an issue. even if he's just out the rest of the regular season, they're only 3.5 games ahead of Boston. So they fall to if they fall to the second seed, then they're probably looking at the Knicks, a second-round matchup with the Knicks. Now, Cade presumably would be back by then. But I think that's something the Knicks don't want. Now, they won't admit it. They shouldn't admit it. And hopefully they're not even feeling that way. They beat Detroit last year in the playoffs, but that was a tough series, and Detroit has owned them in the regular season.
Don't you think the Knicks would rather Detroit than Boston in round 2?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I think
right.
Boston. Now Boston's physical too.
Yeah.
But I think Detroit's physicality bothers the Knicks, and so like I said, that's it. Detroit played them tougher than Boston did last year.
Yeah.
And so it just changes the way the whole Eastern Conference. Because I was thinking, okay, Detroit's got Cleveland. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but they would have an easier path to the conference finals if Cade were healthy. Now, without him, you got to go through the Knicks and then maybe Boston if you get them in the conference finals.
They do have the tiebreaker with Boston, so that 3.5 is kind of – so they have a nice cushion on Boston. They would have to really –
be about 4 now.
Right. They'd have to really fall off in these next couple weeks. But the other piece of it is, again, just reading what the internet doctors tell me, is even whenever he comes back, one of the lingering effects of the collapsed lung, not shockingly, is takes a while to get your stamina back up.
Yeah.
So that, that is a real concern for, as we said, a team that is so reliant on Cade for their offense. He also has played 60 games this year.
It's ridiculous.
So listen,
he's going.
The 65-game rule is not needed when it comes to awarding the league MVP. Because the voters have always basically self-policed that if you play 55 games, you're not winning the MVP to begin with. Now, but guys who have played in the low 60s have shown up on ballots. They have gotten, 3rd, 4th, 5th place votes. And this is where I care deeply about this. I know Brew cares deeply about this. I know some people may not. KW cares, but I don't think the history of it doesn't mean maybe quite as much. I look at the All-NBA teams as important historical snapshots. And to tell the story of this basketball season and have the archives say, oh, Cade Cunningham was not one of the 15 most important players of the season would be outrageous. And if he misses not even the rest of the regular season, he needs to play in 5 more games, which seems like an impossibility. So Cade Cunningham this year is not going to be on an All-NBA team. I hate that.
So they should lift it.
Adam should change it
just a rule.
right now.
I said in All-Star Weekend he should have made a unilateral decision.
So he should do that.
And maybe he will.
But
the noise needs to get a little bit louder.
The talk is that they're not thinking about doing something like that. But this year, it feels like guys have obviously missed a lot of games, but it doesn't feel like it's much load management. It's just injuries, and things like that. So I do think they should trust the voters to police themselves.
Correct.
And you're right. It'll look terrible because we get it this year, but 15 years from now when people on TV are looking at, wow, Cade, he didn't have that great of a year. He didn't even make All-NBA.
Right. And when he was very recently in the discussion,
on the MVP
to be on
top 5.
And up until this moment, a lot of people would have had him 4th or 5th on MVP.
Yes.
And for his season now, I do think missing games should affect your standing on All-NBA. You know what? If it was going to be him or Jaylen Brown for my last All-NBA first team, well, if he misses games, you drop him down.
Sure. But Jaylen just takes his spot. It's not it's not a Cade penalty.
Right.
Someone else gets to move up.
Yeah. And so I
liked when they first put the rule in. I
did too.
And I thought it was necessary,
this.
But things have changed.
It's backfired. Okay, let's check in on your married friends who everyone thinks should get divorced. But they're on the fence, so they zap all of your energy with their drama in the process. The Bucks and Giannis. 2-8 in their last 10, 7 games behind the Hornets for 10th. Giannis is hurt, knee injury.
There's
didn't look
7 games out of 10th?
Yes. 6.5, I rounded
Okay,
up.
yeah.
The Bucks want him to shut it down. He says, no way. Your reaction, bro?
Look, again, in an era of load management, it's gotten better, thankfully, but still, it's there. I'm not going to criticize a guy for wanting to play. Games that are meaningless, games that mean nothing, he wants to go out there and play because he's a professional. And maybe because he wants to show the Milwaukee fans maybe one last time, hey, I'm loyal to you guys.
And he maybe heard Danny bought those 20 tickets to that Bucks game coming up. And feels badly about that.
But look, I'm sick of this Giannis Bucks thing. I really am. And if Giannis does not come out at this summer, this offseason, he needs to come out and say, ideally they do it as a mutual agreement. We've mutually agreed it's in our best interest to trade Giannis. It's in his best interest to go to another team that's on the cusp of winning a championship. That's a contender.
Just who cares? Just do it.
But nobody Giannis is gonna think you're a bad guy.
No one.
If you come out and say, I want to go elsewhere.
I think that's fine.
Right? That's what has to happen. And I'm telling you, Nick, the two teams that should be at the top of the list. Everybody's talking New York. I don't know if they have the assets. They have to get a third, fourth team involved. Houston and Minnesota should try to move heaven and earth
Minnesota.
to get.
I haven't heard you talk about Minnesota.
They need something because San Antonio's going to only get better. OKC probably only going to get better, and Minnesota's just running in place. So they need to go try to get him too if they can. Golden State, I don't know.
I don't think they're going to be. Golden State and the Lakers and the Knicks don't have the assets. So I support Giannis in wanting to play again this year, especially if he thinks this is his last year with Milwaukee. I respect the fact that he wants, even if it's not announced, he wants to know this is the end. Like, take the court knowing this is my last game and whatever he wants to do.
Sure.
By the way, their final home game of the season is against Brooklyn, which if I'm Bam Adebayo, I'm like, man, that 83 might not stand that long. If it's Giannis' final game of his Bucks
that
career.
Would be interesting.
But can I put on my pro-labor hat for a minute? Why is it Milwaukee? Why is it Giannis? Why is it that Giannis has to say, I want to be traded? Why?
Well, they may not want to trade him, even though I think they should.
Right, but the same reason we feel it is best for Giannis to be traded, he should do it. We all agree it's best for Milwaukee to trade him. Yeah. They also don't want to be the bad guys. They don't want to. So is it not fair for me to say there's just as much pressure on Milwaukee to say, I don't care what Giannis wants. Our job as the Milwaukee Bucks is to serve the fans, and the best thing for everyone is to trade Giannis. So guess what? We're trading Giannis. And the only reason both sides feel like they want the other side to make the first move. And all of the media pressure is on Giannis to make it. Yeah. And I'm sitting here saying, Milwaukee is technically the only party involved that can actually make this happen. Giannis can't execute a trade. Giannis doesn't have a no trade. Giannis can't call teams and figure out the assets. Milwaukee Bucks, this is over.
That's fair.
And so make the move.
It's just been a wasted year.
Now, they may feel, and again, I'm totally with you, they need to move on. They're not going to be great with Giannis now. But they may feel like, look, we get one of these top picks and we team him with Giannis. We're back.
So keep in mind, so they get the worst of their pick in New Orleans.
Right.
So in theory, the best possible pick they could get is 2.
But that's still a great.
Right, but that would take New Orleans and Milwaukee both moving way up in but they'll probably.
There's
if they get
5.
The Pelicans get 1.
No, so the Pelicans and the Pelicans and Bucks are both in the lottery.
Yeah.
Whoever gets the higher pick, it actually goes to Atlanta.
Oh, it goes to Atlanta.
And then whoever gets the worst pick goes to Milwaukee. So if they end up with 3 and 7, 7 goes to Milwaukee. 5 and 6, 6 goes to Milwaukee. So that's the point. Is the best they could do is 1 and 2, which is very, there's like a less than a 1% chance of that, but that's the best they could do. So that's fine if they want to wait till the draft lottery to decide. But if they end up with the 7th pick, just like it's Giannis's job to know I can't win here, it's the Bucks' job to know we can't win until we start rebuilding.
Right.
And so they can make the first move as well.
My goodness. Bucks are in Utah tonight, if you want to check that one out.
That's not must-see.
I'm watching it.
That is not must-see
Yes, it is.
TV.
The Jazz have some talent.
What? And they got Jaren Jackson Jr.
Well, Drew will come in tomorrow like, hey, did you catch that, Jack?
No, the answer is no.
He's balling. Stefon and Lamar, perhaps.
Oh, my.
That's next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, your new foundation. Use PDF spaces to generate a presentation. Grab your docs, your permits, your moves. AI levels up your pitch, gets it in a groove. Choose a template with your timeless cool. Come on now, let's flex those tools. Draft, design, deliver, make it sing. AI builds the deck so you can build that thing. Do that, do that, do that with Acrobat.
Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-Acrobat.
Join Fox in supporting our troops. From daily needs to global emergencies, help us be there for those who serve. Scan the QR code or visit go.fox/Red Cross and donate to Service to the Armed Forces. Welcome back to the show. Still some NFL free agents available. Nick Shook of NFL.com writing that the Ravens should look at Stefon Diggs. Writing, he'll bring the fresh experience of reaching the Super Bowl, a roaring competitive fire, and the skills, which he proved he still has, to become a dependable target for Jackson in a core that could use him opposite Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman.
He also said that. He said both things.
Where's all that?
You read one thing. We have another thing.
I read.
Yeah. He said.
Drew, do you like this idea?
I do. I love this. No misdirection needed. I love this.
No misdirection needed.
Right. He could go to Baltimore and do what he couldn't do for the Patriots. It just helped them win the Super Bowl.
Okay, we could help them get to the Super Bowl. How about
Win.
that?
It's about winning.
He could do for Lamar what he did for Drake May, help him get to the Super Bowl.
And more.
More. And then some.
Yeah,
all right? But look, the last two stops, from what we know, Houston, New England, he's been a good soldier in the locker room, on the field.
Yeah.
Off the field, whatever. But on the field, in the locker room, he's been fine. He's been a leader. We saw DeAndre Hopkins have some nice success with Lamar and the Ravens. I think Diggs would right away become their number 2 receiver to Zay Flowers. And he's at this point become a great possession receiver. Bateman had injury problems, so if he moves, if he gets hurt, you got Diggs there. And they lost their third string tight, not just likely. Charlie Kohler, they lost him. So it's going to be somewhat different, some of their formations this year. So I just think this would be perfect. I really like Diggs. I don't think they need like a superstar wide receiver. Their problem has not been their passing game or not having this top 5 receiver in the league.
But I think that would help Lamar in the playoffs. I think having a reliable
he just has to play his, you know what I mean? Like, he's been some to blame, as you know, for a lot of it.
But I think some of that I just think it would be helpful for him to have a reliable veteran receiver, which I don't know that he's ever had. I don't know,
Diggs would bring that, for sure.
I think
Diggs has more left than Hopkins.
And listen, Zay Flowers is better than Stefon Diggs, right? I know you might disagree, KW, but I think Zay Flowers is better than Stefon Diggs. I'm a huge Zay Flowers guy, but they're very different types of receivers, and just the experience of Diggs is a good thing. But go ahead.
Remember when I was saying, when you talk about reliable pass catchers, and of course, Mark Andrews was Mr. Reliable until he dropped one pass, and that sort of
that was a big pass.
Ruined the game. And early on, I didn't have this stat. I'm like, man, it just seems like he catches every ball. And we would look at it through Drake May's passer rating, and it was really high when he was targeting Stefon. Here's Stefon's numbers for last year. His reception percentage is at 83.3, which I'm like, oh, that seems like a lot. And then Josh says it's the second best by a wide receiver this century. Who was it? Michael Thomas in his...
Oh, Michael Thomas is huge here.
Right,
so
part of that is a Drake May accuracy stat. I'll give you credit for that.
Sure. But part of it is...
You get some credit.
We'll show when you're running through those Steph highlights, The catch against the Texans was cold and in a small window, and he grabbed it. He doesn't drop the ball. He'll come up big in big moments. He was huge in the game against Buffalo, his old team. Yep. He is a leader. The other thing is, I think he's back with the Patriots. I don't know the contract and why we let him go. I don't know what exactly it is, but his exit was so far from messy. It was just like some nice goodbyes, and his caption was, "Till we meet again." It just felt like one of those contract maneuvers where I wouldn't be surprised if he re-signed.
So here's, on that note, that actually leads me into my real point very well. But on that would be very odd, because from a cap or contract perspective, it is almost never better for the team to cut a guy, then re-sign him, rather than simply restructure the deal. You know what I mean? So, like, if it happens, that usually is because the team wants to restructure. The player's like, no, I can get more money elsewhere. Then finds out, oh, no, I can't. But it almost never is like an agreement. We're going to cut you and then months later bring you back. Because they could simply just, if that's the plan, they could simply just restructure it. So that would be not unprecedented, but odd.
Yep.
But if that were to happen, I think that only happens if A.J. Brown's not a Patriot, which is what I want to talk about here. Why are the Ravens not top of the list trading for A.J. Brown? We know they will trade draft picks. We know that they have draft picks now to trade. I think that A.J. Brown is markedly better and younger and in every way than Diggs. He's obviously more expensive as well.
Of course.
But, justifiably.
Why can I stop? Why do you say they're willing to trade draft picks?
Because I don't think when they made the Max Crosby trade, the moment they made the trade, the plan was, this is all fake. We're going to waste 4 days, screw the rate.
I don't think you believe that either. At the moment, it was just a whole fake thing?
No, I don't. I think they did it for the first time in franchise history, traded a first-round pick.
And then you think they then got cold feet.
And then freaked out.
Yeah, but I guess not being willing to trade 2 firsts for a pass rusher when you then find out you can get a really good pass rusher in free agency is different than not being willing to trade a second and a third for a wide receiver when there are no excellent wide receivers available in free agents. And so
here's
that's
the thing, though, with AJ.
Yes.
With AJ, if I was a Raven executive, I would be thinking, he's not going to be happy. He's going to do the same stuff. Because Lamar doesn't throw a lot. Like, he'll throw it 20. He may throw it the same amount as Jalen. Now, he's more accurate and, all that. But I think they would be like, man, he might cause the same problems. He's already won a Super Bowl, so it's not like he's just going to keep his mouth shut to win.
Lamar would be far and away the best quarterback he's ever had.
Yes.
And I do think, I don't know, maybe I feel like, this is not trying to be disrespectful to Jalen at all, Lamar has more cachet amongst players than Jalen Hurts. Even though Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl, I get that and Lamar hasn't. If I'm Baltimore, signing Stefon Diggs feels a hell of a lot closer to signing DeAndre Hopkins than a real needle-moving move. And I'm not saying it would be a bad
move. I think DeAndre did. DeAndre made some nice catches here and there.
If you get the Diggs from last year, he will. The other concern is that at that age, now I thought the cliff was coming this year, and I was dead wrong. You thought he would be really good. I didn't.
But I was based on part like blind Patriots optimism, part like he was just moving on the shuttle drills very quickly. But I think he exceeded everyone's expectations. He came back week 1 and played pretty well. Yeah. We got to the Super Bowl, in fact. Easy schedule.
You did get to the Super Bowl.
Very easy schedule.
And then the other team was covered in Gatorade.
They were great.
No, we
were not.
Well, really?
Yeah, look at it. Look at it. Cleveland Browns, who traded 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, are proposing a rule change that would allow teams to trade more first-round picks from the current 3 years out to 5 years out. The Rams, Kevin Demoff, loves this idea, writing on Twitter, "Nothing creates more interest in the NFL than trades. More picks to trade equals more trades equals more interest in team-building options. So the Rams like it. Nick, do you?
That Kevin Dimoff liking this is like the guy who runs a payday loan store saying we're all for banking regulations being lessened. Like, of course, the smart teams love the idea of removing the restrictions so the dumb teams can be dumb more easily. Professional sports in America are closer to a socialistic enterprise than a capitalist enterprise. When it comes to how the leagues are run, there's profit sharing, revenue sharing, there's salary caps, all these things. And there are guardrails in place in all these leagues to save teams from themselves. Why does a max contract exist in the NBA? Why can you not give guys 10-year deals? Why in the NFL can you only trade certain things at certain times? It's because teams can't be trusted to not be idiots. And GMs can't be trusted to put the long-term best interest of the team ahead of the best interest of I don't want to move and take my kids out of school. So I am all for the guardrails, and I hate this idea. Listen, I think my team is one of the smarter teams. I think Veach is super smart. I think their ownership cares and is at least engaged. I think the Chiefs would benefit from something like this. And they are the type of team that in 7 years, at the tail end of Mahomes' career, is a time I'd be like, yeah, trade all the future picks, be as good as we can while we have Patrick, and then be awful, and I'll deal with it. But I still think it would just be bad for the league. I don't think you should be able to have an absentee owner and a bad GM, and it's like, oh, we're screwed till 2030. We're just out in the wilderness. And so I like the guardrails. I think this would be bad for the league.
Look, I think all those points make sense. The NBA's rule is you can trade picks 7 years out.
But only every other year.
Every other year,
The NFL you can do every year.
And that was, I believe, put in place because of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ted Steppe.
Yes.
Cleveland.
Right. I think but I would be fine with it if that's what they did. I wouldn't be up in arms. But the thing that would raise my antennas is kind of the Knicks' points that the Browns suggested. One of the worst run franchises in sport.
Yeah.
All right, that they suggested it. If this came from the Chiefs or the Rams or some team that's well run and smart, now you're right, maybe they'd have ulterior motives, but you say, this guy makes some good decisions. Look at how they run their team. The Browns are a mess.
I totally agree.
A complete mess.
I'm shocked that the Browns.
I'm shocked they had the audacity to even do something like that. Everybody's looking at you like, really? Hey, you got an idea?
The Browns raised their hand in class. Everyone's like, what are you doing?
Right.
The tush
you
push.
never do your homework.
They made the Packers do the tush push because the Packers didn't have an untraditional ownership group. So it's like, look, it's just no one's going to fall on this one. It's just the Packers do it, and we'll all jump on. The Browns should have called somebody and be like, listen. We did the Deshaun thing. We screwed it up. Can you guys propose it, and we'll support you?
Right. Nobody's going to believe it from us.
We can't do it. Okay? Let someone else do it. All right. That's the story. You heard it here first. The weirdest and most wonderful plays of the night. It's basically all Luka and LeBron. That's next on First Things First.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
We're going to stay in Houston, but talk about expansion. Afternoon headlines presented by Aspen Dental. Visit aspendental.com. Get smiling today. In an old episode of The Shop, LeBron said he wanted to own the expansion NBA team set for Vegas. Yesterday, he said, no dice. I'm the GOAT. Are you surprised?
Well, I'm definitely surprised because, for the past decade
10
plus,
years, he's been saying.
LeBron's talked about wanting to own the team, particularly the team in Vegas. So when you saw that they were available, you naturally make the correlation. But I think this is related. There were some good articles about this. To the group he's a part of, Fenway Sports Group, which owns the Red Sox and then Liverpool in the English Premier Soccer League, that they are not interested in buying one of the expansion teams for $8 billion. And so that I would imagine has something to do with LeBron saying, I'm not interested. And as much money as he's has, all the reports say he's worth $1.4 billion. That's not enough to buy an NBA team, but or even maybe have majority ownership of a team. And I think LeBron, when he started talking about this,
he wanted to be
10 years ago, teams were a lot less. Michael Jordan didn't have to put in nearly this amount of money in Charlotte. And so LeBron, if he owns a team, he's going to want to be the majority owner and have final say and the decision maker. He's done that throughout his career in the way he moves. And so I think that is what this is all about. And look, it'd be unfortunate. I want the league to have more black ownership. Mm-hmm. It'd be great if it's LeBron James. I don't think Nick. I'd love for LeBron to be an owner, and I hope he actually ends up being an owner. But I'm more excited about minority ownership, racially minority ownership, black ownership, than it just being LeBron or Michael Jordan or whoever. Having Brady as an owner, having Jordan as an owner, that's nice, but LeBron will be involved with the NBA, whether he's an owner or not, to the degree he wants to. If he wants to be on television, if he wants to, talk about the NBA, everybody will want LeBron to be involved. This is sad if this is the case, but, we'll see. Things could change.
All right, first of all, spot bonus.
I saw that.
Fear of owning in Las Vegas. I don't know who it is, but that's $50 to one of our producers. That is Ian, great job. All right, it's stunning to me. He first started talking about this, as you said, 10 years ago. 4 years ago, he said, I'm going to own a team.
Yeah.
He has seen, and then the way there was a story early yesterday, Fenway Sports Group not interested. LeBron then was asked after the game about, is this something you're still interested in? And he just flatly said, no, not at all. Yeah. And then I think the reporters were a little stunned, and he just looked at them, and that was that. So a few things came to mind, because you say, Brew, he's going to be involved in the NBA once he's done.
I mean, if he wants to.
Right, so that's.
If he wants to.
There's not a lot of ways to be super involved other than this. He's not going to be a coach. He's not going to be a general manager. I feel very confident in that. I'm also quite confident, while, again, seat open for him here if he'd like it, I don't think he's going to do television.
Because we're New York based.
I agree. I tend to agree with you. But he's doing podcasts.
He might do his own thing.
Yeah, he'll
There's a massive difference between owning a team.
I get it, but I would be surprised if I see him on television. But look,
no, maybe
Shaq is on.
It's possible. It would be stunning to me. And Magic Johnson was on forever, and so he
could do spot appearances.
Right, but that would be stunning to me.
Fine.
But it's also such a departure from what he had been consistent on, and I do wonder. So the Celtics sold for 6.1. Mm-hmm. The Lakers just sold for 10. I don't blame the Fenway Sports Group or anybody saying that the expansion franchise in Vegas or Seattle is not worth 33% more than the Boston Celtics and 80% of the Los Angeles Lakers. That if those groups are like, it's overpriced. Like that, the idea behind sports ownership historically has been value only goes up, goes up, and they might be looking at it and say, not at $8 billion, for table stakes. Right. That doesn't only go up, and so the question I have is, what value to the league would having LeBron James be one of the owners be if he's going to be a forward-facing, I know Pat Riley's not the owner of the Heat, but Pat Riley is the de facto face and running, operating the Heat more so than Mickey Harrison. what if LeBron as an owner was going to have almost a Mark Cuban style ownership, where like he is the decision maker in the face of the team? That to me has real value to the league. Yep. And the fact that he's bowing out of it is, for me, disappointing.
Was your take that on this quote that he's bowing out of team ownership or Vegas?
No, I
that
think
felt like the NBA ownership.
That's what it felt like to me.
Okay, I thought it was Vegas.
So
if the Grizzlies come up for sale and it's not $8 billion, then it becomes a little more interesting. You know, Jordan started with the Wizards, and then the Hornets felt more of like a home state thing. Yeah. So I wonder if it's just Vegas, and he talked about Vegas, but if there's other, it feels like LeBron's cachet could take maybe not one of the premier franchises, the Grizzlies, and take them to another level versus Vegas, which feels like it's going to come out of the gate and be
buy the Grizzlies and move them to Akron.
And it may depend on like his cachet. Because remember when Jordan wasn't as visible. LeBron, maybe if LeBron were as visible as you mentioned, Cuban, that's a whole different thing. And they do well.
Yeah.
But if he was like Jordan after a while was like, oh, it's nice Michael Jordan's an owner.
Right, but he wasn't front and center. And he was doing other stuff. Right. So that
Brady
doesn't have a
in the
ton of value.
NFL is okay.
No, because Brady's main job is with us.
Right.
So I agree with you. If he's just an owner the way Magic is an owner of the Dodgers, that's not,
But Magic's not the majority.
If he's like Jerry Jones, where you feel like you're part of the NFL cabinet,
right?
And you're directing the league in major directions, even to the small. There was a point yesterday. I don't know if you saw this clip, and I don't know if he was talking to Jabari Smith or the ref. Did you see this clip
about the shirt tucked in?
It's like we're on national television. That's what we're doing. We're playing with our shirts untucked. And I don't know if he was asking for a tech or.
No, I think he was telling Jabari.
It was just like decorum.
He's like, I'll tell your father. I used to play against him.
But it was like he cares about the league on a molecular level down to tuck your shirt in.
And he'd be great in like collective bargaining because he knows the side of the players.
Yeah, he'd be great.
I think all that, again, this is naked speculation. Yeah. And it's not like I talk to LeBron, but I think people know I'm tight with Maverick. Like I talk to people, Rich we talk to. I haven't talked to any of them about this, so it's true naked speculation. I wonder if he's a little pissed that there are going to be two teams that he has planted his flag. I want the Vegas team. He literally is about to pass Parrish as far as, I've given more to the game than literally anybody. As far as, sweat on the court, years in the league, games played, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to be one of the bids.
Well, what are you supposed to do? You get a $1 billion discount?
He may want to, LeBron, look, all of his endorsement stuff, he was looking at all these companies he worked with. It was partnership.
Yes.
I want partnership. I don't want to just endorse your product and be an employee. I want partnership. So he's probably thinking of the NBA like, look at what I've done for the league.
Look at what I've done and work with me.
Yeah.
And so again,
I don't know how that plays out.
I'll be honest.
The owners are thinking bottom line. All the other 29, 30 owners, they're thinking bottom line. So, he might be upset.
Live from New York, it's a show that's afraid to go home. As my wife went to Wisconsin, it's going to be rough.
Not great.
It's going to be a rough day.
You like to pretend you did, kind of.
No, I just support my wife. So if that's a crime, then lock it up. Second hour, first things first. Today, have the Lakers found their winning formula? Play the Rockets.
You can't do that.
They beat the Rockets twice in a row.
They also when they beat the Pacers, you were like, oh, big deal. And then they beat the Knicks, Timberwolves, Denver, and the Rockets twice.
Rockets twice, I'm saying, beat the Rockets. Okay. Meanwhile, the curious case of Mike Evans leaving Tampa Bay. Very interesting comments. I'm not sure we even believe him. But right now,
hard to believe.
It's time for the most motivational segment in all sports. Also time to read viewer mails. We get mail from all over the country, all over the world. We pick a letter at random. Christina goes to the post office. Read them here today. Dear Wilds, love the show. Wow, thanks. Haven't seen Jackson Blade in a while. Please tell me you guys aren't retiring him like Cowboy Brew, Bruto, and the other lovable characters from the show's lore. Cheers, Ryan and Brian. Well, Ryan and Brian, it's an old saying. A man can never step into the same river twice. You're not the same man, and it's not the same river. The world's constantly changing and moving and evolving. So, sorry to say, we might have moved on from Jackson Blade, Bruto, and Cowboy Brew. Now, surely there'll be yet another lovable character that you can attach your heart to. But for now, so long, Jackson Blade.
Wow. Hold on. Is there no graphic coming? Are you being serious right now?
Did I sound serious?
You don't get to do that. It's not a dictatorship. You can't just make these unilateral decisions without consulting me or Brew.
You think it's, look, Brew worked at the New York Times.
Yeah.
You're out here, sports media ombudsman.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth your time? I got to call you into my shared office and say, hey, I'm going to talk about stepping in the same river twice. And
I am. If you're trying to kill off Jackson Blade, I would like to be consulted.
Well,
there's really
I
nothing
had no
coming.
idea.
it's time for the
He's
Bud list.
done? I mean, Dusty killed off Bruto.
Well, that he needed. It was time.
Well, they brought it back a few days
Yeah,
ago.
exactly. You never know. It's
and
like
the people loved
WWE.
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
The
it
people
pops
loved
up.
it.
Ides of March and all.
I'll come up with something else.
That's exactly right.
I'm ever creative.
That's exactly
if
right.
Nothing else. All right, here we go. At number 3, now look. John Shire, throw him up, head coach for Duke.
Oh.
This was going to be all motivation. I was going to be like,
We need it.
Shire, you got nothing to lose. I mean, you have done a fantastic job at Duke in his 4 years there. Replacing a living legend in Mike Krzyzewski. 4 years, well, 3 really, that he's had a chance to do something, not before this season. Made it to an Elite 8, made it to a Final 4. Now you're the overall number 1 seed, so it's going to be like you've out-recruited your rival down the street in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, by a mile.
Yep.
You keep getting all these great players, and it was all gravy. Nobody's going to kill you if you don't win a championship in your first 4 years. But I was going to say, if you do win it this year, 4 years in, Krzyzewski won his first one 11 years in. You know, several others. Patino, I think, 5 years in at Kentucky.
Took Boeheim like 30.
Yeah, right. I mean, so this would seal him. I think, Hurley was 5 years at UConn.
Okay.
All right, I think Patino was even longer, I think. But this would seal him as one of the greatest coaches right now in the game. Patino was 7 years. His 7th year at Kentucky, he won it. But now it actually is duress.
Yeah, we need
because
motivation.
Duke is down 11 to Siena. Duke, not just the number 1 seed in their region, but the number 1 seed in the tournament overall. And them going down to Siena, it would all of a sudden, for all the success that he's had there.
No, this would be a
This
nightmare.
would almost put him on the hot seat. Last year you had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yep.
Not to mention Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I don't
And
kill him
Malach,
for
who we
losing.
liked.
Right,
Yeah, but he's in the
I'm
G
not
League.
killing him for losing that Final 4 game to Houston. But still, people will look at that. Oh, you had these 2 great NBA players, didn't win it, and then to lose to Siena. So, look, I think you're a great coach, but you lose this
This
game,
is chaos
and all
right
of a
now.
sudden,
This is a live
things
Bud
get
list. We are
real,
live.
real serious.
Down 11 at the half. Oddly, that game's not televised, so just stay here and we'll.
Is that true?
No.
It's somewhere. I was going to say it's
And remember,
gotta be
I was
somewhere.
on Duke all year. I still believe.
Yeah, you're under duress too.
No, I'm not. Never a doubt.
Okay, I'm going
Hey,
on the record
hey,
now. I don't
I'm
know
just
if
saying.
you'll match me. Duke will win this game by double figures.
I agree with that.
Do you? You don't.
I haven't watched. I have to see how the game is going because I've been locked
It ain't
into
going
first
well.
things first.
You know that. They're going to have to turn it. Shire's going to have to say something
Well,
magical.
the power of the Bud.
at
It's going to be like
halftime.
power of the
Oh,
Bud.
it
list.
will be the Bud list too. All
Turn
right.
on FS1.
All you had to do is turn this on, Shire. All right, here we go. Number 2. Victor Wembanyama.
Ooh.
Now, this one is straight motivation.
Oh, of course, you love
But
it.
you remember, Nick, when he was in the draft and executives and scouts were saying, by his 3rd year, he's going to be the best offensive player and best defensive player in the league, in the world. And look, he's clearly the best defensive player. I think
not
Luka is probably the best offense. But the thing about Luka is his style. There's an argument that can take away from the rest of the team. And so Wemby fits in. He plays more
but he's
and
not
more
a better offensive player
egalitarian.
than Shea, right? Or
He's got
Joker.
all the skill. Who was the other
Joker.
person?
He's not better offensive player than those guys.
Yeah, I would not say he's the best offensive player in the league right now. But I think somebody could try to argue that the fact that he's 7'5" and can do everything. But he certainly is in the argument for best player in the world. I would say he's that right now. But if he were to go ahead and win the championship this year, everyone would say he's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's undeniable.
Yes.
Best player in the world. And Nick, that has, at 22 years old.
Here we go.
Only 2 times, and I don't know that anybody was ever the best player in the world at 22. The only 2 comparable, you would say, and this one isn't even a factual thing, is Bobby Knight saying that 21-year-old Michael Jordan was the best player he ever seen. And that was pre-NBA. That was when Jordan was running through the NBA players in the Team USA exhibitions. But the second one, Nick, or it was even before that, was Kareem. Kareem was 22, starting at the beginning of his second year when he won MVP and won the championship. So those are the only 2 comparable, even possible guys that were the best.
Just to be fair, Bron was 22 when he got into the finals in 07.
But he got exposed in those finals. Like he wasn't shooting. They were just giving him jump shot. And I was covering it. Duncan was probably the best player in the world at that point. They swept him in the finals.
That's fair.
LeBron was certainly one of them. But this would be incredible if he were to lead them to the championship. And no 22-year-old. I mean, Kareem did win it. I think he was 23.
He was 23, but he's rookie year.
Right.
I'm sorry, he started the year at 22.
But he had Oscar Robertson with him too.
Yeah, but
Kareem was the best player.
Yes.
But Oscar was, still a great player. Yep. This would be maybe unprecedented.
GOAT potential.
To lead. Yeah. Well, he's definitely got GOAT potential.
But that would So can I add something here?
Yeah.
GOAT potential and GOAT trajectory are different things. The GOAT potential is what we always say on this show.
Right.
But what I've really been arguing is because of the time missed and the injuries and that he has not been on a GOAT trajectory.
This would
100%. If he wins the title this year and finishes top 3 in MVP, that then is GOAT trajectory. Now it's a long path.
And he still could be, I mean, if they don't win it,
then he still could.
Because Jordan got hurt his second year.
Absolutely.
But that will put him on the GOAT trajectory without question. And the thing about this, and I'm sure you guys feel this way, if you watch him, he still kind of looks like a kid. Like his makeup, his body. Like look at Giannis at his age and Giannis now 4 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? How much bigger and stronger he got naturally. If he does that, which I would assume it will, it's just going to be over. So, look, no pressure on him really. I mean, probably to win the first round.
Yep.
But after that, if they don't win, people are going to say this is how it goes. Yeah, you got to pay your dues and suffer some heartbreak and all that. But if he does win it, like Nick said, puts him on GOAT trajectory, certainly in that conversation, trajectory-wise.
On the Wim bandwagon now. That's pretty good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
On the Wim bandwagon?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Yeah.
All right, number 1. This is Ant Edwards. It's all motivation. It's all motivation. But here's the deal. Ant is young too, like Wemby, but 24 years old. But in his 6th season, and Nick, Anthony Edwards has reached the point, he's a superstar. And he's reached the point where Luka's a little further along, but where people want to see you win. Because every year he doesn't win, that's what people are going to be, is he ever going to win a championship? Is he ever going to win? You know, he hasn't accomplished as much as Luka and all that, but I'm saying he is a legitimate superstar. And so now what people want to do is see him win a championship. What I'm saying, Ant, it's never going, as tough as the West is right now, it's never going to get easier. The Spurs are only going to get better. OKC is very young. They're younger than the Spurs, actually. they may only get better. You know, and Boston is not going away. Detroit is just going to get better. Like, it is not going to get any easier. That's not even to mention the Lakers and the Nuggets and teams that are good right now. So this is, look, you need to try to get it done now. Look, I don't think you guys are going to win the championship, but you've been to the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years. You do have a good team. You need to take over, put the team on your back, and see how far you can lead them. So it's nobody's gonna kill you if you don't win it, but the pressure will keep mounting for you to win the championship. So, Ant, I do believe in you as a great player, and let's go out there and see what you can do.
And maybe he can see if his newfound friendship with President Obama, that Obama can petition Adam Silver that, hey, when you had those two teams, move the Timberwolves to the East. The team you're moving to the East.
Man, that's a great point.
And
that's a great point.
Geographically, it does make the most sense.
Yep.
Not because they are the furthest east of the West teams, but because the 5 teams closest to them are all East Coast teams. Or I'm sorry, Eastern Conference teams.
Yeah.
The Bulls, the Pistons, those are the closest teams to them.
And the two that are coming in, Vegas and Seattle, are further west.
Right. Well, those two teams are definitely going west. The question
You're
is,
gonna move somebody.
The question is it going to be New Orleans, Memphis, or Minnesota that goes to the East? Memphis and New Orleans are further east, but they are closer geographically to Western Conference teams. The teams in Texas, you know what I mean? And so, for whatever it's worth, I think Minnesota's the most likely.
Well, it's 4:14. It's time now for the Sports Media Ombudsman. It's a great segment.
Thank you, KW.
Might get us in.
It's not going to get us in trouble.
Not in trouble,
So
but
this is the one you were saying we're
well,
going
I
to
just feel like sometimes he goes, you know.
I don't know where he's going, but
So
you
let me,
apparently
all right,
do.
well, let me say this on the front. Some people like this show. And the people that do, it's not that we get this compliment a lot, but occasionally, there's a compliment we get that I think is the single highest compliment.
Not bad.
Which is, your guys' show reminds me of Inside the NBA. I think that
I've seen that a lot.
I've seen I don't know that I'm going to say a lot, but when I see it, it is the highest compliment because I believe that show has an argument that it's the greatest recurring sports show
I've
ever.
I've written it in some of my burners. It's
okay, and so
sign of a compliment.
so I that is the respect and affection I have for that show and the people on that show. Okay? I say that on the front end. With that said, our friend the Chuckster, your worst nightmare is approaching.
Wow.
The Lakers are contenders. And he has been openly rooting against them. With, I think, the argument being the media overhypes them and they can't actually win the title. But I and the rest of America is going to watch Chuck do March Madness these next few weeks. And he is going to give respect, attention, and affection for a bunch of teams that he doesn't think can win all 6 tournament games, that he doesn't think are going to make the final weekend, much less, you know what I mean, have the confetti falling on him, but he's going to respect the journey. And he is going to seemingly really enjoy watching the games, which at times it feels like we have Lakers Nuggets, one of the games of the year. Chuck, before the game, is like, I hope they lose. And after the game, Shaq's like, shouldn't need to miss a free throw to win a game like that. That's not what a championship team is. Guys, there is a level of covering the NBA that I think involves still enjoying the NBA. And there's a level of, even if you thought, listen, I just picked the Celtics to win the title. All I've said about the Celtics for my whole TV run has been, I don't believe in them. I didn't believe it. I was wrong. I came around. I am curious where Chuck is going to stand on the Lakers after this run, because I don't think you can just keep saying they're not as good as Denver.
If that's what he believes, he can. I mean, Chuck, and I'm just saying, they're giving their opinions. So, if that's how he feels, and here's the other thing, Nick, this ain't new. No. They've been doing this. This is being themselves has made them the most popular show. So you can't ask them to change.
No. So I totally agree with that. I just wonder, I wonder if Chuck really believes the Lakers are frauds. That's what I'm saying. Or if he's painted himself into a bit of a rhetorical corner on it. And, hey, there's nothing wrong with being like, hey, they're better than I thought they would be. Because I think at this point, a fair reading on it is they're better than you thought they were going to be. Because they are legit. I think it's fair to say if the contender group is more than the Celtics and the Thunder, the Lakers are in it. I don't know how they couldn't be. It's not going to get us in trouble.
See, I told you.
No, that wasn't bad.
We're going to get blamed.
I just think, look, their whole show, they've been critical of the current players. You know, this goes back decades.
Yeah.
Current players, the league,
Sure.
things like the style of play, all that. So, and it's been wildly successful for them. So I think they're just doing what they do. And Chuck, you know, I agree. I think the Lakers are very good. But
Can they win the title with that defense, which has been
I
better?
don't think they'll win the title.
I don't think they'll win is different than can they. I think they can. I think they're on the list of teams that can.
I think
fair.
you hit it on the head with, well, OKC and San Antonio in the West.
Yeah, sure.
I think are the two teams.
I'm putting baseball food on the Bud list. We're about 2 weeks away from opening day.
What is that?
Is that a Sam? What is that?
I don't
Hot
know what
dog?
that's a picture of.
A chili dog?
It's a picture of a hot dog.
That's a hot dog,
All
James?
right.
We're about 2 weeks away from opening day, and teams are starting to roll out some of their novelty items.
Oh, you don't like this.
Call me old school, bro. When I go to a ball game, you know what I want? A hot dog, some Cracker Jack, a beer, maybe a delicious Pepsi so it can keep me perked up. But now these teams are rolling out a lot of this food, which is really for the Instagram crowd. Is it to eat it or is it to take a picture of? And I had Hubs pull some of the more ridiculous food items to show that not only do I not need these in my baseball viewing experience, I don't want them. So Hubs picked 5 at random. Hubs, let me see the first one here.
The Seattle Mariners crab nachos, Old Bay fries, and chicken tenders served in a ferry souvenir boat.
I love it. That
I'll
looks
be honest,
delicious.
That does look good.
This one I like.
That looks good.
If you're getting
It
a
looks tasty.
souvenir boat as well, I like it.
yeah.
It's a ferry thing, so that is an exception
for
to the
kids,
rule.
they get to keep
Give me
it.
another
that'd
one,
be fun
Hubs.
as a
That's an
kid.
exception.
The Miami Marlins machete, a 2-foot-long quesadilla with a house-marinated carne asada that comes with a carrying case.
Well, if it's got the carrying case, a lot of the issue is the
Carrying
transport.
case.
That's
That's
going
a
to be
little tougher.
unwieldy.
It has
Yeah,
a
that's
carrying
a little
case.
tough.
That's
No,
what
but
I
to
thought.
eat it.
No,
Yeah, that looks so
look,
good.
if it has a carrying case, you got me on
If
that
we
one.
go to the
So
game,
you like two of them.
But-
hold on.
well, it's open
You're
to
shooting
two.
down your own
If we go to the
intro.
game,
We could.
Lady in the Trampet. Wild.
The Snakes take me out to the ball game shake with popcorn, Nutter Butters, and Kit Kats.
Well, that looks gross.
Again,
Yeah, that looks scary.
this is going to be a yes from me.
What?
This is I support the Snakes. This one is
you
a yes.
like
What is in that again?
I
Repeat
think
that.
there's Cracker Jacks.
Popcorn, Nutter Butters. Oh, this is
Kit
Bruce
Kats.
Sweet Tooth. He might be.
No,
Take me out
I
to the
can't
ball.
mess with
That
that.
one is
That
good. Give me
makes
another
sense.
one. Give me one more.
Two more.
The Baltimore Orioles crab smash tacos.
Again, if it's
That-
we're in
that's
Baltimore,
typical,
yes.
yeah. And that's
Crap,
fair.
they got
That's
to.
not
All right,
just-
final one. One more.
Jackson Blades broccoli bites.
That's going to be a no. So for me, that is a no. This is where I'm talking
You
about.
brought it all the way around.
That's a no for me.
Wow.
So Jackson's still in the show?
Well,
W.
My man.
Wow.
there you go. More
Good
first
job,
things first.
bro.
That was a long
Those-
setup.
That was a 20-minute joke.
Those acting lessons I gave you.
Oh, they really paid off.
Sell that
I
to
see
the
they're paying
YouTube
off.
crowd. That was really well.
Tom Brady back on the field for the Fanatics Flag Football Classic on Fox. Star-studded 3-team round-robin tournament featuring the best in the game, including the return of Tom Brady and Gronk. I think that was a strategic misstep
By his opponents?
by Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
You got to take Gronk early to
To get him
separate.
away from Brady.
Yeah,
Obviously.
mentally it'd be.
Yeah, I'm
And I
surprised
bet
you
you
ain't
could
that
then
long.
probably you draft him and then hold him hostage via trade.
Yeah. I
Something.
mean, guys, like that was just
It's a bad job.
A real misstep.
Joe
Saturday
Burrow's got
4,
more on his mind, but it's bad.
only on Fox.
Look at me
Lakers
right now.
took over the game late. They win back-to-back games in Houston. Luka had 40. LeBron shot 90%. Here's LeBron postgame.
Look at me right now. Right now, I feel like right now. But in the game, I felt pretty good. Before the game, I didn't feel that great. I mean, I was yawning and tired and telling myself, I literally just like talking to myself like, come on, here we go. Let's figure it out. Let's get through it. So, but I felt pretty good in the game. And like I said, happy I'm able to make a few plays to help our team win.
How dangerous are the Lakers with this version of LeBron?
Well, I think this version of LeBron, meaning to me, him being cool with being the third highest usage guy, like JJ said, and Luka doing what he's doing, where the team now fits. I think they're legitimately dangerous for the first time all year. I think the fact that they now have a 4-man lineup that flat works with either big. LeBron, Luka, AR, Marcus Smart, with either Ayton or Rui, both work. They can defend, they have enough shooting, Luka's playing out of his mind, and then you add to it, they are, and this does to me pass the eye test and the logic test, they are just far and away the best clutch team in the league.
That's true.
And if you look at what their clutch numbers are, it's a lot of games because they don't blow a lot of teams out. That part's not good. But they're 20-6. In the clutch, their offensive rating's 130. They lock in defensively. It's 104. They are 32-1 when leading after 3. And that makes sense because LeBron is as smart as any player ever. Luka can create a shot for himself or someone else against any defense. And so, Brew, I do think the Spurs are better than them. I also think that if we think the one but about the Spurs is experience, well then playing LeBron and Luka in round 2, it really tilts the experience in a significant way, and that would be the round 2 matchup because the Lakers are going to be the 3 seed. I don't think the Spurs are going to catch the Thunder. They could, but the Thunder would have to really trip up. So I think they're legit dangerous. And again, Celtics, Thunder, Spurs are all ahead of them, probably significantly so. But I right now think they're the 4th best team in the league. And if they're 4th best team in the league, that's dangerous to me.
Yeah, I certainly think they're a top 5 team. And I'm not saying they're not 4th, but I think they're definitely a top 5 team. And you mentioned LeBron, one of the smartest players ever to play. He's showing that. It's like he looked at, he got a little time with Luka, got a little time with Reeves, both of them together. What do we need? He looked at what they need, and now he's saying, I'm going to do that. So you override your ego, you override the way you've played for the bulk of your career, and he's been able to do it. A lot of players can't. And you said earlier, having one of the 2 best players of all time, late in his career when he's not the best player on your team, that can be tough. When I covered the Knicks when Jeff Van Gundy was the head coach, and he used to always say having a superstar at the end of his career is tough. And you saw the Knicks traded Patrick Ewing because he was the best player in the Knicks history, but he was older. He wasn't going to be the focal point anymore, and they felt he wouldn't be able to handle it, which you get. Mm-hmm. And so for LeBron to be able to do this and really excel in the way he is. I said earlier off the air to you guys, he didn't have a ton of rebounds last night, but he played like Karl Malone. He's running the floor, getting fast break buckets. He only had 2 assists, I think, but he made some nice drives and passes that guys either got fouled on or didn't finish. So LeBron's playing great. If he continues to play this role, then that makes them very dangerous. And I agree. Look, I agree with you on these 3 teams that we think are better. But the playoffs are just different. And we don't know how Wemby and Stefon Castle should be what? A junior in college? Yeah. Dylan Harper should be a sophomore in college. De'Aaron Fox has never gone deep in the playoffs. Now, Harrison Barnes has won a championship. Yeah. But, they are incredibly young. And so it is going to be different. Look, J.J. Redick has the experience advantage in coaching over Mitch Johnson. This will be Mitch Johnson's first time in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
All right? And obviously with LeBron and Luka and all these guys have the experience advantage, they are going to be able to come up with something that's at least going to trouble the Spurs and really challenge them. So they're a legit contender. I think OKC and the San Antonio are better. But yeah, the Lakers are a contender.
Can I add something,
Yeah,
KW?
of course.
The biggest problem for the Lakers in the playoffs since that Western Conference Finals run has been running out of gas. The fourth quarters of playoff games. And a lot of that was LeBron running out. LeBron running out of gas at the end of those games. I really wonder how LeBron looks fresh right now. Now, part of that is the fewest games he's played because of the injury at the beginning of the year. Part of that is because the usage is down. Mm-hmm. I do wonder what having a theoretically fresh LeBron going into the playoffs and a LeBron who, for the first time in his entire career, will be playing playoff games where he is not running the offense quarters 1 through 3, what having that late in games is going to mean. We've never seen it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe year 1 with the Heat a little bit.
They
when
were
he
just
was
trading off.
They're just,
him
so,
and Wade.
And so like that to me is intriguing and interesting.
That's so much of I don't know if he enjoys playing this way as much, but it is a lot less on his plate. And it's so mentally and physically taxing when you have to determine every play. Like Luka, that's the only way he knows how to play, but that also is taxing on him, so he's not going to be able to do all the other things. Now LeBron is totally free to do all the other things, and that's what we're seeing, him running the floor like this. So, yeah, I think look, I do think the way they're playing now, I said them in Denver I think they're better than Denver if they're going to play like this. Obviously, I think they're better than Houston. Minnesota would be interesting because of their youth and energy, but the Lakers are looking really good.
And Minnesota also, Ants reevaluated in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that, Denver just lost to a tanker last night.
Something's wrong with Denver.
Yeah.
Something's up with Denver.
Yeah.
So I have the Spurs. You are taking the Lakers.
No.
You're slowly seeding your Spurs.
Everybody
around.
knows this.
The Thunder show why they're the favorites next on First Things First, right here on FS1.
You think you're slick.
Well, you just keep on talking.
You
love experience.
You got Duke. Where's Duke and Siena?
I'm sure we're
right
doing
now?
fine.
You got Duke. Redick might have.
Sunday NASCAR Cup Series right here on FS1. Catch the best of the best. Full throttle. Darlington Sunday at 3. 3 race coverage. 1:30. Only on FS1. Quick episode of Winners and Losers. By quick, I mean it's about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that quick.
No. Winner efficiency. LeBron shoots 90% in his win over the Rockets. Caught a lot of dunks. Some high flying.
And did you see his one miss?
But he got blocked. He was complaining he got fouled.
Well, and if he didn't get fouled, it should have just been a turnover. The ball didn't get 8 feet in the air. He jumped, got hit, and the ball just went out of bounds.
Oh, shouldn't count as a shot. Shot 100%.
I mean, that's what I thought. But and the fact that he had 6 dunks. There's only been 3 games in his career where he had more dunks is wild.
And he's never had more alley-oops.
Oh, I didn't see.
3 alley-oops. Well, at least that's what I read.
Well, and I know we're going to talk about the Rockets side of it.
Oh my gosh.
You saw it, Brew. Kevin Durant in the first game of this little baseball series, 16 first half points, 2 second half points. In the second game of the series, Kevin Durant, 2 first half points, 16 second half points.
He did a 10-minute interview. Again, we're going to talk. He did a 10-minute interview talking about the myriad of ways that he could combat the Lakers defense. And Jay's like, oh yeah, we're just going to run the same stuff at you. And guess what else it is? It's Ime's defense from the Celtics Nets close sweep series. Now Kevin Durant's on your team and doing the same stuff.
I don't want to see Durant dribbling the ball at the top of the three-point line and 2 Lakers facing me. Like that has not worked in these 2 games. That's not worked once. All right.
Why are you doing it?
What are you doing? I thought they got him off the ball more, but.
More on the Rockets.
The Rockets,
in a hot
they got a
second.
problem.
Loser competition.
They got a problem.
The Thunder hold the Nets to 24 points at halftime, Brew. Earlier this week, you were talking about how there's plenty of talent in the NBA for 2 more expansion teams. The Nets scored 24 points.
That's got nothing.
And a half.
They got some talent.
Well, I don't know if they do.
24.
Michael Porter Jr.
That's the end of the list.
24 points is unacceptable for a half.
Correct. And then you
Well,
saw
look, give the Thunder credit for taking the game seriously, not taking them lightly.
Just having a blast.
We going out here
also give
getting better.
Thunder's head coach credit for leaving Shea in
get
the
his
second
20.
half to get his 20. I think
ended up at 40.
No, I know. But this game was over at halftime. 60-24 at halftime is, as you said, unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
Just can't do it.
They had 5
I don't know what to
first-round
do
picks.
with the
None of them
Nets.
seem to be good.
I don't know what to do with the Nets.
I do.
I have an idea.
Contract?
No.
What?
No, I don't want to be mean.
No, say it.
It's too late.
I think
now.
you might have to have a change in the executive.
Oh, the
leadership.
GM. Oh, yeah, that's right. That is true. America, Google Kevin Wild, Sean Marks.
Why? Oh, it's been
Marks
years.
has been there a long time too, and it's gone nothing but downhill. I mean, you're right.
I was right years ago.
His job security is incredible.
It was the first Super Bowl we ever did together. Wilds did that rant.
That's right. That was
winners.
You got to bring that back. That was hilarious.
Do it every day. Returns Carson Wentz, re-signed by the Vikings. What do you think this means for
Weird.
JJ?
This was
Oh, go ahead.
bizarre. I didn't care enough to want to do a full topic on it, but I was stunned by it.
Well, it doesn't. Am I wrong to say? Doesn't speak well of JJ.
That's what I mean.
Right? Like, JJ should be the backup, right? Now he might not even. Why are we carrying 3 name quarterbacks?
I just can't imagine Carson Wentz doesn't have an opportunity to be the backup somewhere, right? That would surprise me.
Yeah, like
Well-
Andy. Well, he wouldn't go to Philadelphia, obviously, but Andy Dalton was in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
But he might be the backup here.
No, so
I mean, I know they're not saying
that's
that.
the point that I'm making is that it would be shocking if Carson Wentz, with months left in the offseason, signed up to be third string. You know what I mean? And that you would think he would want to go somewhere where he's going to be the backup. Kyler's the starter, it would appear.
I would imagine Carson Wentz is thinking, okay, I liked O'Connell. Obviously, he's helped other quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Exhibit A. Kyler could easily fall on his face and struggle.
Yeah.
JJ, I've been with JJ. I know I'm better than, I'm just saying, if I'm in his head,
He won 5
I'm
games.
better than JJ.
Like he won
And
games
so
last
he
year.
may be thinking, this is a chance where eventually I may get a chance to start.
I'm baffled.
Okay.
Are they gonna trade JJ McCarthy?
But added
Not much value.
No, yeah.
Career low.
Yeah.
Winner top 10s. Jaylen Brown becomes the 10th leading scorer in Celtics history, passes Collins and JoJo White.
That's
last
impressive.
night.
I mean, the Celtics, that's a serious franchise.
Can you name? I already did it.
Top
to
10?
I already did it.
Did
to
you
Nick.
get it?
Yeah.
Well, but not in order. But just the.
Can you do it,
the
bro?
10?
I don't want to put you on the spot.
Can you name number
uh,
1, bro?
Havlicek.
Correct.
Good job.
Havlicek, Bird, not in this order, but
Yeah.
Havlicek, Bird,
Yep.
Cowens.
No, he just passed.
No, just
Collins.
past
Oh,
Collins.
just passed
Collins now 11.
I'm going to say Russell,
Correct.
Kuzi.
8. Kuzi 6.
Sam Jones,
Sam Jones 7.
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce 2. You're missing 4 and 5. Number 4 has already been mentioned on this show today. In a Bulls uniform.
Oh, Robert Parrish.
Robert Parrish and one more.
Mikhail. No, is it Mikhail?
Correct.
Well, he's also.
Oh, you're missing one more.
You're missing
person.
one more, and he's active.
Oh, Tatum.
And that's
Yeah.
Tatum and
Yeah.
Jalen.
Great job, bro.
Crush that.
Thank you. Right, live on TV. Talk about under duress.
I mean, I did have it here for the whole time.
But I didn't see that.
Loser runs. Ohtani throws 4 1/3 scoreless innings. Dodgers host the Snakes in 14 days. Could you see Ohtani going for the Cy Young this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's obviously competitive. He's won 2 World Series now. I mean, if I was as good as, I'm just trying to rack up everything I can. And so, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to pitch, I want to be the best pitcher I can. So, yeah, I think he'll go for it. And I think he'll still hit 50-ish home runs.
So he could have pitched last year, kind of chose not to. Hit 99 yesterday, didn't pitch in WBC, obviously could have. He did that simulated game, was striking out his own teammates. To me, it's all lining up. We're like, you know what? I'm going to go for this. I'm going to win the Cy Young, maybe win the home run title, and have what might be, this is going to sound crazy, inarguably the greatest baseball season of all time.
Well, he's already got what we say is the greatest game ever.
Yeah.
Right? You talked about GOAT trajectory. I think he's clearly on that. Yeah, I mean, that would.
And even if he doesn't have an amazing hitting season, adding a Cy Young to his resume is the only thing missing.
Live from New York, it's a show that always believed in Duke. I told you guys. You guys.
You were sweating bullets.
No, I wasn't.
It's not over. Sweating.
You discovered it. Today is Luka making a run at MVP. We discussed. Meanwhile, maybe Stefon Diggs is Lamar's latest wide receiver, or is he going back to New England? Also, did we sneak in the A.J. Brown to the Patriots news? Is anyone ready to talk about that?
Whenever you give us the green light.
Julian Edelman is in the know, Hall of Fame adjacent. And finally, special episode of Frenemies. Talk about Giannis's future. And by we, I mean I'll be on a train home.
Thank you for your support as always.
Frenemies.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Alongside Chris Broussard, did an excellent Bud list. Did you see the Bud list?
I did. I think it's why Duke's going to pull it out.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's got to be the
power of the Bud list.
It's got to be the fastest turnaround for the Bud list ever.
I think that's true.
And it's a lot of responsibility on that.
Yeah.
And y'all talk nice to me.
Okay.
I'll put your team
but the Bud list
on
doesn't
or
really,
off the Bud list.
The Bud list is always motivational. I don't think it has a downside, does it?
It could. Just don't test.
Very powerful, man.
Danny Parkins is here, Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds, Chris Broussard. It's a great episode of First Things First Overtime. Starting to catch our stride, to be honest with you.
Okay, good.
Head to Houston. Luka went for 40, closed the game out, told the crowd about it too. Here he was on the Lakers' mentality at closing time.
I mean, winning games, that's it. You know, win, everything is easier. Win is fun. So just the way we play, I think it's a lot of fun. And that's what we always do. You win, we have a good time.
How have you guys been able to switch that so you can bounce back from like a 20-5 third quarter run tonight that the Bruins had?
I mean, yeah, they did it today in the third quarter. You know, we just responded. You know, we say it's time to close the game, and that's what we do.
Here's Luka's numbers during this 7-game win streak, Danny. A lot of people are saying
that's pretty
going
good.
nuclear. It's like Luka going nuclear. A lot of people are saying that nowadays.
Yeah, I'm hearing at least one.
Is he making a run at MVP?
Well, I like how Nick said earlier, you know, he's got to be one of the first names that you mention for MVP.
Which could be 10 names.
No. But I would say, like, would it count? Like, I don't have a ballot. Brew does. But if I did, if I was like, the guys I'm considering would be Shea, Wemby, Luka. That's one. Because to me, that would be my top three. And I think that Shea is going to win. I think he might even win by a wider margin than he did last year. And I think that he is deserving. But Luka's been ridiculous. Like he's playing incredible basketball, but he's been playing statistically great basketball all year. It has been translating to winning more recently. Right. And so I just pulled this stretch a little bit longer than the 7-game win streak, but just like in the month of March.
Oh, I love this.
Well, Luka's been great. He's been incredible. 35 a game, 8 assists. They're 9-1. The problem is the guy who's the favorite for the MVP, who's the 1 seed.
Hasn't been as good?
Well,
I mean, that guy on the right hasn't been as good.
He hasn't. He's also taken 6 fewer.
The efficiency.
So we can reveal Shea as the guy on the right. In terms of wins, I think when you get a statistical argument like this, and Shea has 11 more wins than Luka, I think that is a totally reasonable deal, like tiebreaker to say. He's on the better team, but because Jalen Williams has been out for as long as he has, Shea is carrying as much of the load as Luka is.
I mean, I do not think Shea is carrying as much of the load as Luka is. I don't think that.
His second best players missed 2/3 of the season.
But his second best player is Chet, like that, which is the guy we thought was supposed to be the second best player. They're 8-4 without him, right? Like they are the Thunder without SGA. I
say he's not carrying Luka has LeBron still playing at a high level and Austin Reeves with him.
Hold on,
2 big scorers.
What are you laughing about, Cade?
Nothing.
Do you think? Hold on, maybe I'm in the minority here with you. I would be shocked if you disagree with me on this. The Lakers without Luka, the Thunder without Shea. Which team's better? The Thunder are better. Like the
Thunder are also without Jalen Williams?
Because they haven't had Jalen for essentially this
vast
year.
majority of the season.
And the Lakers went through a long stretch without LeBron and a stretch without Austin.
Yeah, but not close. They've played twice. Those two have played essentially twice as many games.
I understand that entirely. The idea that the Thunder, we were discussing the Thunder as this historical juggernaut that's not going to be stopped because they have all of this talent, these waves of young players. Again, I also think Shea right now is the MVP. But I think both of the leagues that we talk about the most, the NFL and the NBA, I think the media does the MVP wrong in both leagues. And I think it's the opposite. I think the NFL has skewed way too much to MVP is December Player of the Month, like it's just the finishing kick. And the NBA, it's way too much to whoever the MVP is on March 1st is the MVP. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, it's over. Like, there is 20% of the season left, or 18% of the season left. And I think the general consensus is, yes, Luka's surging, but he can't catch him. Like, it's an impossible.
Shea is still playing great.
I actually do think he can't catch him. I think he cannot catch him.
I mean, if Shea would have to really fall off.
Which is just
that's unlikely. I think the other thing, I don't think it's even close to who carries the bigger load. Luka carries this load because that's how he plays. And Luka is sensational. Just one-on-one individual play, you don't see better in the league, all right? And you've rarely seen better historically.
Yeah.
But it's also there's still a question, is that the best way for them to play to win? He's a one-man show, even when I got LeBron James and Austin Reeves. Yes, he throws assists. Chauncey Billups once told me, he said, if I dribbled the ball for 15 to 20 seconds, and then I either shot or passed to the guy that's going to shoot, my numbers would be through the roof too. And I love Luka. I just gave him all these props as an individual player. But he doesn't have to carry this load for the Lakers. He's choosing to carry it because that's the only way he knows how to play. He doesn't have to carry that load and play that way for the Lakers.
I mean, so I think that the way he is playing for the Lakers is the way that makes them the most dangerous. I think that he has shown that playing this way does lead to winning. It hasn't led to a championship yet. But we're not even halfway through his career, and most guys have not won a championship at this point in his career. I think only Giannis won one of the contemporary guys, by this moment of his career.
Where's Shea at?
Shea's older than Luka, but I think came in the league a year.
Shay's 27, right?
Yeah, Shea's a few months older than Luka. Yeah. But I mean, if we put up Shea, the point I'm trying to make is, I think it is closer than the conversation has allowed for. Here are their numbers for the year. Shea is clearly the better defensive player. Luka, in my opinion, is better at all aspects of offense. I think he's the better rebounder. I know he's the better passer. I think he is the better. I understand the three-point numbers. Oh, Shea's a better three-point shooter. I don't think that's true. He shoots a higher percentage, but Luka takes much tougher shots and much more. Right.
But he wants to.
What, Dan?
Well, even doesn't that speak to the efficiency of the scoring for sure? Luka is an amazing offensive player, and better scorer than Shea. I think we're parsing a very little thing here, but if the percentages are that much higher for Shea, I don't think you can say that Luka is a much better.
I said he's a much
scorer.
Hold on. I do think he's a much better scorer. I mean, I think he's a better three-point shooter, even though the three-point numbers. Like, you agree with me, Brew, that all three-point percentages are not created.
Yeah, sure.
And so I
think Shea's gotten really a lot better at the three. Historically, Shea hasn't been a very good three-point shooter, but this year he's added that.
I think Luka's the best offensive force in the league, and I think that now at this, and they have played as the same amount of games. And I don't look at the Lakers supporting cast as better than the Thunder supporting cast. And again, I said on Twitter this morning, I'm saying now, I think Shea is right now clearly the MVP favorite and deserves to be. I just don't like with 20% of the season left that the MVP does. People said when I was on my working vacation, when Shea hit that shot against the Thunder, the universal response was MVP over. That when Shea hit the three against the Thunder, that it was okay. That was
Shea's on the Thunder.
I'm sorry, against the Nuggets.
Pardon
me. When Shea hit the three against in that game,
because it was a big game.
A big game against Joker, and it was like okay, everyone's fighting for second, and I just don't.
I think Wemby is actually ahead of Luka.
Right, and that's, And so that's why I said for me it would be Shea, Wemby, Luka, because like where in that equation does wins come in? Because last year, Shea won 16. I wrote it down. It was 18. It was 16 more wins than second place, 18 more wins than Joker. Right. Like that was the debate, right? It was between Shea and Joker. But it was like, well, his team had 18 more wins. Right. Like that has to matter. So if it was a Shea-Luka debate, and one guy's the one seed with the most wins in the league and in the tougher conference, and he's got 11 more wins than the Lakers, I feel like a double-digit win difference should tilt it to Shea, whereas Shea having 4 more wins than Wemby, it's like, well, I'm willing to listen to a Wemby argument over Shea when their teams are that close.
I mean, Wemby's carrying a team that won 34 games last year. It's a much younger team. It's, so I think Wemby's second. I think Luka's making an argument to be on the ballot. Not to win the award right now. Now, we'll see. I'm giving the last 20 games. We'll see how it goes. But Cade, if you're talking about record, well, first, if you're talking about statistics, Joker still is averaging a triple-double. Still on pace to lead the league in rebounds and assists for the first time ever. Now, his PR has come down. He's still got the best PR ever, but it's below 33, where nobody's ever hit 33. Now, their record is worse, though. And they're in the 6th seed, okay? But then you look east, Cade Cunningham certainly carries more of a load than Luka. And his team has a better record. Like if Cade doesn't have a LeBron James, again, I know it's not peak LeBron, but still a very good LeBron, and another second scorer. And then Jalen is interesting. They have a better record than the Lakers. Jalen Brown.
Okay, I was
Jalen Brown. Yeah, not Jalen Brown.
Ramsey's like Jalen Brunson. Finally.
So I think Luka is making his way onto balance.
So I guess here's my frustration. And by the way, on the three-point shooting thing, and thank you to Jeffrey for saying in my ear. Shea shoots 4 a game, Luka shoots 10. That's why I'm saying the guy who's shooting 36 and the guy who's shooting 38.
But Luka takes some bad. Look, I am a stickler now. Luka's style of play is questionable.
Well, so it
just is.
Until he wins a title, that's going to be what people say. I think his style of play has carried less talented teams further than their seed repeatedly in the playoffs. Not yet with the Lakers, but
and it can do that. Yeah. But can it get you all the way to the top?
And he came up 3 wins short, 2 years ago, and we'll see. But the point that I just want to make, maybe why I'm passionate about this, even though I don't think he's the MVP right now, is it feels like there is a bit of arguments that don't apply to other MVPs apply to Luka a lot. I'm hearing the record argument, totally fair. That's always applied, except for Joker, of course, who won the MVP as a 6th seed and won like that. Then we didn't care because the stats were so crazy. I hear all the time with Luka, the defense is disqualifying in a league where Steve Nash, Steph Curry, Dirk Nowitzki, and Nikola Jokic combined for 9 MVPs this century. And so that to me
they showed more effort defensively than Luka.
I think, I mean, I think Luka has...
In spurts, he shows effort.
And so, I mean, I don't know how much effort Steve Nash was showing defensively.
I thought Nash, he took a lot of charges. I think he was a smart, communicative defender.
And so, but you understand what I mean. Like your defensive, if you're a great defensive player like Wemby, that helps you in the MVP race, obviously. But historically, for the league's scoring champ, who also is a great distributor, I didn't hear a bunch of, yeah, but what about his defense? But you hear it with Luka a ton, and that just feels a bit double standardish. That bothers me. That's all.
Head to Detroit, where Cade is going to miss time after being diagnosed with a collapsed lung. He checked out of this game against the Wizards after diving on the ball. Danny, Detroit thought it was a collapsed lung, but he might be out for 3 weeks, might be out for 6 weeks. I read that it's 26 days. On average, although, of course, everyone is different. What is your reaction to this latest news?
Yeah, I didn't 100% know that you could have a mild collapsed lung, which was, I was like, right, it just felt like those two things felt like they were in conflict with each other. So I think probably among us, I was the person who believed the least in the Pistons as a contender to come out of the East anyway, because
You love the Cavs.
I do like the Cavs. Hey, listen.
Do you still like the Cavs?
Jared Allen, James Harden, Evan Mobley, and Donovan Mitchell have played 3 games together.
Oh, yeah.
So we still have not seen...
It sounds great on paper.
Yeah. We still have not seen the Big Four of the Cavs play a real...
The Big Four? They've got a Big Four in Cleveland.
They do.
And they're going out in the second round.
I didn't know they had a Big Four.
Get Jared Allen back to play with Mobley. It's going to be very nice. Just I see the vision, okay? I see the vision for Kobe Altman there. No, I think that there's a chance... if I'm being very generous, that this could be a blessing in disguise if Cade comes back. Because to your point of how much of a burden...
Really? For Detroit?
Yeah, because to me, they try really hard. They are really well coached. They're probably going to get the 1 seed because they're 3.5 games up with the tiebreaker with 14 to go against Boston. But if you do points scored and assisted, because you're talking about the load that Cade carries. Actually, it is 4th in the league compared to 2 of the guys that we were just talking about. But it's a fun list to talk about, how much it would be a huge loss to any of these teams if these guys went out. But the difference is Jamal Murray has been amazing. LeBron and Reeves at times have been amazing. Chet has been great. The Thunder are the drop-off for the Pistons behind Cade, and I did put this one together also, there's so clearly not a second player. The next most for points is Duren, and it's a 5-point drop. For assists, it's a 7 assists per game drop. They desperately need a second playmaker. So Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, can someone step up?
No, Tobias Harris or Duncan Robinson? The answer is no.
That was the answer.
Okay, I'm just.
So your blessing in disguise is not just Cade gets a little rest. It's someone else starts creating offense.
They have to figure out a way to generate scoring chances when the ball is not in Cade Cunningham's hands, because this wasn't sustainable anyway. I love Cade Cunningham's game. He might be the starting point guard for Team USA in the Olympics in 2028. Maybe they'll win the title in the next 2 years. This to me is not sustainable through 4 rounds of an NBA playoffs. And so maybe for the next 15 games, you can figure something else out just because of opportunity and usage.
That makes sense. I mean, and that's an optimistic way to look at it.
It's
Nick
the most
brought up
optimistic I can
earlier
do.
that his win might not be the same when he gets back. And I get it. They got essentially a 4-game lead over the Celtics. If they fell to second, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. You wouldn't have home court in the conference finals, but I think they could beat the Knicks in the second round. Or they face the Cavs if they're the 1 seed, so it's going to be tough either way. But I don't see this as a positive. I think the rest of the East, I felt like Detroit, Boston probably looks the best right now. Yes. But now, look, I think, Danny, if he's out longer than 3 weeks, if it dips into the playoffs and they play Atlanta or Orlando, not Orlando, or I guess they could end up facing Orlando.
So that was Orlando's a half game up 6-7.
Yeah, it
but
could
I would
be
say,
Orlando.
Brew, wouldn't you say?
Or Charlotte.
If Cade missed the first round if he missed the whole thing, I would make every one of those teams live against Detroit.
Yes, Orlando, Atlanta,
Miami,
Charlotte. Miami too. Yes, yes.
Philly has a terrible bottom, but like their best is
if Embiid's back for that. Yeah, so Detroit could really be.
They could lose in the first round.
Yeah.
So and we hope the best for Cade. It also will be criminal if he's not on an All NBA team, which if he missed the rest of the season, unless Adam by edict changes the rule, which he should, and no one would be mad if he did. It'd just be a shame. He deserves All NBA. I'm really glad. What would be the real shame is if this was one of those Supermax eligibility years.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're even thinking about that. Like where it's like, oh, this collapsed lung cost him $50 million. But thankfully he's already got his max deal. But my takeaway for the conference is, and this might not be fair, and I'm not trying to put more undue pressure on Jason Tatum, who came back months early from an Achilles, but it now will be stunning to me if the Celtics don't win the conference.
Wow, stunning. So if the Knicks, I hear you because I like them. They probably look the best right now, but if the Knicks beat them again,
if the Knicks
you would be stunned?
I would be stunned.
Wow.
And so, and I understand the Knicks-Celtics series has nothing to do with, this injury. But the one team that they wouldn't have home court against, I now think is going to have a really hard time getting to the conference finals. Because I think one of the mistakes we make in general in sports media is when a guy misses time, we're like, once he's back, we're like, he's back.
Right. Yeah.
And usually it's like, no, especially if that's in the playoffs. So I don't want to say this is a season ender for Detroit, but it is a season shortener to me, which means Boston's going to be home through the playoffs. Tatum's only going to get better. And, I am not as fearful as, Danny thinks I should be of the big four. When they had LeBron, they didn't even have a big four. That was only a big three. Yeah. I mean, the big
I'm
four
saying
in
I see the
Cleveland.
vision. It's a scary team.
And so I think it means if it wasn't already Boston's conference to lose.
It's so strange.
It is now.
Have you on the Boston, not bandwagon, but.
No, I said it was before Tatum came back that I picked him to win the title.
I know. It's still.
The title.
Yeah, he's all the way.
I picked Boston. Do you not watch the show?
I
picked Boston to win the title.
It's crazy. I still feel like it's going to change over.
No.
Yeah, it will.
If
the Lakers
if we have a Lakers-Celtics NBA Finals, I reserve the right to root against my pick.
Rule changes, courtesy of the Cleveland Browns. That's next.
Frenemies time. Happy Frenemies Thursday to all who celebrate. We begin in the NFL. This is a fun one. The Browns are proposing a rule change that would allow NFL teams to trade draft picks up to 5 years into the future. Currently, you can only trade picks up to 3 years into the future. The Rams president came out, he of F them picks fame with Les Snead as his GM. He's like, yeah, I'm on board. There have already been 6 first-round picks that have been traded. So, Nick, good idea, bad idea?
Horrible idea that I'm guessing you like.
I like it more than you, but I actually agree with. You said earlier that you have to protect teams
from themselves.
And I actually agree with you.
Okay.
Like the NFL, the thing that it has going for it, a couple things obviously, but every game matters, every game feels big, and right now, what do you think? 20 teams believe they can win the Super Bowl?
More.
25?
Yeah.
Right, about 25 teams can talk themselves into.
Well, and there's only one. There is only one team whose fan base right now is not excited for the season. To Miami.
Yep.
Every other team, maybe the Jets a little, but the Raiders are psyched. The Titans are psyched.
Browns.
The Browns, I think Browns win total 6.5. They have soft schedule. They're like, I think that unlike baseball and certainly unlike the NBA, you don't have a third of the teams that are like 3 years from now, right? They're excited for the upcoming season.
So we actually are more in agreement on this than you expected us to be, but here's where I wanted to kind of pivot it and explore it. I do think the spirit of the idea is correct. I do think that if you're in a fantasy league where there are no trades, you're in a boring fantasy league. When we're on the air and the Micah Parsons trade happens, it is like a stop the presses moment that everybody loves and everyone has an opinion. It generates interest. It generates offseason buzz. In baseball, the trade deadline is an event. The leagues that have more movements transactionally, it builds interest in your sport in a way that the NFL, this is just on their trade deadline day, they don't have. So I do think something to juice trades in football. And now part of it is it's hard to go from one system to another and pick it up midstream in football compared to these other leagues. But I have a few ideas, but go ahead.
Just leave this up for a second.
Yeah.
To me, this graphic says if I run any of the other leagues, you know what we need?
Fewer trades?
Less trades.
See, I
certainly don't think the NFL should be like, hey, what's hockey been doing?
No.
More of that. What the NFL does works.
I agree what it does works, but it can be better.
Yeah, I don't think.
And again, at the deadline, it is tough because you're not going to trade a quarterback in season. He has to learn a whole new offense, or a receiver has to learn a whole new offense. Pass rushers can do it.
I love the NBA. I don't like that there seems to be more interest in the transactions than the games. And so I don't think that's positive. Baseball is, to me, different because I do like the buyers and sellers component of baseball, which is why there's so many trades. And a lot of that has to do with the specialization of, like, we need a left-handed pitcher that's different. But what are your ideas for the
trade salary cap space? Only a year into the future. So I can't be a GM on the hot seat and trade salary cap space 5 years into the future or for the next 5 years, but we are willing to pay some of your cap for this year for a team to go for it because we want a draft pick in return to help our rebuild. Or do it like the NBA where you could trade draft picks a little further into the future, but you have to make a first round pick at least every other year.
Yeah.
Like just some things to juice trades, because when you say you don't like that the NBA cares more about transactions than games, to me that issue is you got to make us care about the games more. Shorten the regular season, make the games feel more like an event. Like I don't think the transactional care that we have is a bad thing. And I do think the NFL could get a little bit more creative to get some wheeling and dealing going.
So the trading cap space, I think, is something you and I find interesting, and I think the average fan would have no interest in whatsoever.
But it would facilitate trades. You wouldn't just be trading like $10 million. You would be trading $10 million and a pick for a player.
Yeah. So I think that that strikes me as maybe something that would lead to richer owners having a sizable edge that I'm glad they don't have so much in the NFL. There are things you can do about borrowing money from future years, things like that. But in general, the idea that to remove restrictions from how far in the future you can trade picks, I think is a horrific idea. And people say in the NBA, yeah, you can trade up to 7 years in the future, but you really can only trade a maximum of 4 firsts.
Correct.
And in the NFL right now, you can trade 3. So, because in the NBA, it has to be every other year you have your pick. And I do think that there is real damage that would be done to franchises for half-decade plus by desperate GM and absentee owner. And even though my team, I think, would benefit from this rule. One is, I think we have, like the Rams, they're a sharp team. They're like, yeah, remove the rules. Let the dumb teams be dumb. We're the smart team. That would benefit, I think, the Chiefs. Also, let me say this. When Patrick Mahomes is 37 years old, I want the Chiefs trading future for, I want them to treat the end of the Mahomes era like the end of the franchise. What I thought the Patriots should have done at the end with Brady.
Yep.
Forget the next phase. We're trying to maximize this window. But I think teams are too irresponsible. And I look at pro sports teams almost as like a public trust. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't want a GM on the hot seat to be able to kneecap the next half decade.
Yeah, I thought it was reasonable. Paul DePodesta, he's back in baseball, but he was a baseball exec who was Jonah Hill played him in Moneyball. He was with the Browns for forever.
Yeah.
And then the Browns proposed this rule. I almost wondered if it was like a Moneyball carryover. Like they have baseball people in their front office that propose.
Yeah.
Because it's a very baseball idea.
All right, speaking of teams who have really screwed their upcoming and near and long-term future, the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. I'm going to do this one because, Danny, so the Bucks want to shut Giannis down. Giannis doesn't want to be shut down. And I happen to be on set with maybe the only person in the world that wants Giannis to stay a Buck.
Well, other than diehard Bucks fans.
I think if you're a diehard Bucks fan, I think they're split at the very least over whether or not. Do you still want Giannis to stay a Buck? And do you still think he will stay a Buck? Because both of those were your takes. You want him to, and you think he will.
So do I want him to is easier. Yes, I still want him to.
Why?
Because, listen, man, the grass isn't always greener. Did it work out for KD leaving and going to all these different places?
I mean, I think in Golden State, yes. I think he got exactly what he wanted.
What he wanted, and then we kind of moved the goalposts on him, and I certainly judge that title as not. Like, I judge Giannis's one and Jokic's one as more impressive than KD's multiple, right? And so Giannis it's Dirk's career. He got the one. He was an international player who was drafted, who was developed, who stayed there, who became a franchise icon, who's got the statue out front of the stadium. Giannis saved basketball in Milwaukee. They were going to move the team. The league owned the building. They have fired coaches. They brought in Drew Holiday. They brought in Dame. They did the stretch. They brought in Miles Turner. Some of it's worked. Some of it hasn't. Some of it's been bad luck. I do have a romanticism about Giannis in Milwaukee. Will he stay there? I don't know that either one of these teams has it in them.
You mean Giannis or...
Yeah. These parties involved. I don't know that either one of them have it in them to be the bad guy.
Well, the Bucks need to grow up then.
I agree. That's reasonable. That is a totally reasonable stance. But Giannis saying, I'm hurt, okay, I don't care, I want to play, that's just who he is and who he's always been.
I totally respect that Giannis heard you bought 36 tickets to a Bucks game here in 10 days.
You keep inflating the number. It's 16. I'll see you against the Clippers, Milwaukee.
And he wants to play in that game. I also respect that if Giannis is going to, if this is going to be his last year, he wants to have a final home game that he knows is going to be a final home game.
Yep.
I respect all of that. I reject the Dirk comp because Dirk got his title so much later than Giannis. He hadn't won yet. Got it later, and then at the very end when they weren't great, he was no longer great. This team has no shot of competing at any point during the remainder of Giannis's prime, even if his prime is another 3 or 4 years.
Well, let's see what happens in the lottery. Because I don't think that they would, like, if they get the 5th pick in the draft, I think that what they would talk to Giannis about is, let's see who the best player we can trade the 5th pick is for.
And that would be a disaster, man. That would be a further disaster. And so I don't blame Giannis for not demanding out. I do blame the Bucks for not just taking the onus of, we're in charge, and the best thing for us, forget Giannis, the best thing for us is to trade him. And so I think it's obviously the best. And I think Bucks fans would celebrate another Giannis title the way, I always forget this hockey player, the Boston hockey player that won the title in Colorado, and then they threw a parade for him. But like Ray Bork, was it?
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think they could live. The only chance Bucks fans have to watch high leverage playoff games that matter to them in the next 3 years is to be watching Giannis play for someone else.
And what if Giannis gets traded to a team and it doesn't work out there?
Here's the thing. It might not work out. He might not win a title. There is no shot that he gets traded to a team and they're hopeless. And the Bucks are hopeless. Danny,
listen, in the East,
they're in the East, and there's 7 games out of the 10 spot.
He's been hurt.
Danny.
Ryan Rollins, a new coach, a top 5 pick that you trade for an asset. You do something creative with Miles Turner. Listen, man.
Do something creative with Miles Turner. They did something creative to get Miles Turner. That was a disaster.
I agree with you. It has been. Listen, man. I'm the guy in the Titanic that closes the door and goes down with the ship. I want you to think of me that way.
And I'm the guy saying, hey, there's a lifeboat here, get on it. And you're like, no, I have good memories about this boat. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I am a basketball romantic for Giannis in Milwaukee.
Okay.
You can roll your eyes at it, man. There is something to a guy being in one place for an entire career and having won a title there.
And there's something to Giannis at 32 not foregoing any opportunity he has to play in big games again, which is what you're advocating for. Or that somehow they're going to turn Ryan Rollins and Miles Turner into a real player. It's not going to happen.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Side bet?
Any amount you want.
Side bet? Are you sure?
Yeah.
We'll bring out Willie Colon coming up on the OT. Thanks for hanging out with us on the OT. I got Willie Colon out here. He saw a non-competitive game at Barclays last night, 60-24 at the half, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's talk football, Willie. Stefon Diggs, he's a free agent. He was released by the Patriots. Some speculation has suggested that he could just go right back to New England on a different deal, but if not, maybe Lamar Jackson. Nick Shook over at NFL.com posted the theory. If he doesn't consider returning to New England, it would make plenty of sense for Diggs to become the latest household name to latch on with Lamar Jackson in pursuit of a ring, fresh experience of reaching the Super Bowl, a roaring competitive fire, and the skills, a dependable target for Jackson, and a core that could use him opposite Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. Willie, Ravens, Patriots, somewhere else. What's the best fit for Stefon Diggs?
Well, listen, it makes sense for the Ravens because I think if he was to join the Ravens, it would be under the understanding that he's a Band-Aid, right? He's 32 years old, still productive. Yes, he will be a reliable target for Lamar Jackson. But if I'm Stefon Diggs, I possibly won't want to go to L.A., to the Chargers. I think him.
You keep putting everyone with Justin Herbert.
Well, because I don't think A.J. Brown is going to walk out of Philly. I think Howard Roseman is going to hold on to him and chain him to the building. But I think if you're Justin Herbert, if you have a short-handed receiver in Stefon Diggs who's still productive, who can still blow the top off a defense, I think it's worthy of taking a shot at him. Now, nevertheless, man, you know there's a lot comes with him, right? All the off-the-field issues. Sometimes he could be a distraction. But he still has a little explosiveness in the tank, so we'll see. I don't mind it.
I was kind of floored by how good Stefon Diggs was this year.
Yeah.
I
still had 1,000 yards.
And praised for the leadership, accountability, said the right things. I mean, this highlight package that we put together, it's like, that's a diversity of routes. You know what I mean? There's just there's the scramble drill, there's outside the numbers, there's red zone, there's over the middle, there's double moves, there's deep shots. He had a very, very impressive season. And so Lamar getting another weapon makes sense. Is he as stylistically different from Zay Flowers as I would like? No. A.J. Brown would be that's a true number one who can be there for a couple of years, right? But while I do think that A.J. Brown is going to get moved, if he does, everyone's going to. So only one team's going to be able to get him if he does. Stefon Diggs is a really nice fallback option. But I will just say, the flirting of him and New England as soon as he left, I think he's going to go back.
Back to New England?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He left. It seemed like we can't work on a restructured deal.
Right.
So we're going to take a little bit of a break. Sometimes you take a break in a relationship. But you're not deleting the number. You're not blocking the person on social media.
Sure.
This was an amicable breakup. And so I think New England is going to be in on the A.J. Brown sweepstakes in a post-June world. And now Stefon Diggs is the fallback plan.
Yeah, I can see that happening, but I also think if you're the Ravens, you haven't had a dynamic receiver who can really threaten the top of a defense since Hollywood Brown, right? And you also look at you brought D-Hop in, but he was a no-show in the red zone for whatever reason. He didn't pop off the tape for you. So if you're the Ravens and you're Lamar Jackson going into this year, you need a true number one. Stefon Diggs is essentially that. Zay Flowers can still give you separation. He can still be dynamic in the second level, all that good stuff. Rashad Bateman is still in there. You still have Mark Andrews, but you need more weaponry. And also, if you're the Ravens, also understand what, like I said before, he is a Band-Aid, but you may have to go into this draft. You're selecting at the 14th hole. You may have to get you, if Cornell Tate pops lands, so you go get Cornell Tate out of Ohio State.
A lot of people think he'll be gone before that. But, we talk about Stefon Diggs as a Band-Aid, and I get it.
Yeah.
32 years old. Mike Evans just signed a 3-year deal at 33 years old.
Right.
So, I know I have to always be recalibrating the modern athlete. They stay in great shape. Can you be productive long? Because there's not a lot of examples of post 32-year-old wide receivers on new teams having great seasons. I know we did that once before. It's kind of a cliff. At some point, Stefon Diggs' production is gonna fall off a cliff. But if you're a contending team, and this was just not a very good year to need a wide receiver. In the free, right? Alec Pierce got $116 million.
47 catches.
right. Mike Evans, coming off a hamstring at 33 years old, got the huge deal. It's always a good year to draft a receiver, but this was not a good year for a veteran for needing a free agent or veteran wide receiver. Stefon Diggs is a pretty good option for a win-now team, whether it's the Chargers, the Patriots, or the Ravens, because he was really, really good this last year.
Well, I agree. I think if you're a team who feels like you're in win-now mode, you want to get somebody that's proven, because I think the worst place you can be as a ball club is going to the draft and trying to address a need rather than getting somebody who has potential that can develop in your system. And I think this has been the biggest pickle for the Ravens. They haven't gone to the draft and say, all right, this is a young man we're going to get. We're going to build through the system. He's going to grow with Lamar Jackson. Everything they brought in, nevertheless, has been a Band-Aid, and it's hurt them. So they seriously have to look at Stefon Diggs or make him an offer he can't refuse.
Well, the Ravens are interesting because, listen, this story, I think, is tied to the A.J. Brown story because we're talking about receivers who could be on the move between now and when the season starts. And so it seems like and I know you think he won't, but let's just hypothetically.
Gotcha.
If A.J. Brown's going to get moved, it seems contractually like it's going to be after June. Well, so if it's after June, that means it's after April because that's how the calendar works. So that means you would be able to use the draft.
Right.
So, Baltimore could make a selection at 14 because they didn't have to give up that pick in the Max Crosby fiasco.
I know, they're like this. Thank God.
Yeah, so they sign Trey Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. They make a selection at 14, whoever it is, whether it's a receiver, a tight end, an offensive lineman to replace Linderbaum, whatever it is. And then you see if you win the A.J. Brown sweepstakes. And if you do, you're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And if you don't, and you pivot to Stefon Diggs, like Trey Hendrickson was a great fallback for Max Crosby, it's like Stefon Diggs can be a great consolation prize for whoever loses out on A.J. Brown come June 1st.
But if you're also Lamar Jackson, you want to get with your guy ASAP. So hopefully a decision is made ASAP so you can move forward.
But don't you just yes, you'd prefer that.
Yeah.
But if I could have Jawan Jennings tomorrow, or if I have to wait till June 2nd and I get A.J. Brown,
I'm
gonna wait till June 2nd.
Don't do that to my man Juwan Jennings.
It was a little bit of a drive-by. I did not mean that. But I'm just saying he's not A.J. Brown.
No, I get it.
He's not A.J. Brown. And so I think now there's just a waiting game of who doesn't get A.J. Brown. And then everybody else kind of falls in line.
Makes sense.
Behind him. Caleb Williams in the news in March?
Yeah. So cold.
That makes sense.
So cold.
It's not as cool when I do it. So if you're a fan of us here at First Things First, you know that Kevin Wildes likes to trademark his own sayings that he came up with. Defense wins championships. Houston, we have a problem. He's the only one who's ever said that. Caleb Williams, though, he's getting in on the trademark game. Iceman. I guess I have to retire calling Caleb Williams the one. He went with Iceman. It's okay. It's fine. It's a great celebration. He also wants to do the imagery of that after the pass to DJ Moore. He's going to make merch. He's going to sell it. And at first I was like, man,
you got to get a T-shirt.
Well, I was like, I kind of wanted his nickname to be the one. And then I was like, I'm obviously going to buy every piece of merchandise that has this on this. So, my hope is that it brings back nicknames. Nickname?
Oh, okay.
Sweetness.
We grew up in the nickname era. In basketball, was everything. The Rain Man, Magic, his airness, all that.
Mean Joe Green.
Correct.
Prime Time. The Playmaker. Yeah. It's like the modern athlete.
Nigerian Nightmare, all that.
So That was a great one. It's like the modern athlete's gotten too cool for the nickname. And I like that Caleb Williams is like, not only am I not too cool for it, I'm going to make money.
I support that. You know, the issue with nicknames, you got to show up. Like the reason you got the Iceman because you showed up in clutch situations. So you have to live up to.
And I like that he didn't give it to himself. His teammates started calling him Iceman, and then now he's just going to run with it. You can't give yourself a nickname.
Kobe did it.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't love it. I got to be honest.